Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. This video we are going to talk about e-commerce in Blazor WebAssembly. This video is in two folds. The first one is starting from the scratch, and I spent about almost 2 hours to do it. So that's from scratch up to where we're able to build what you see. And this one, it is just a quick review. So depending on your understanding in Blazor, if you are new, if you're a beginner, then I think you have to watch the one from the scratch, because we started from the scratch and I explained everything little by little till we got to the page that you see on the screen. But if you have basic knowledge in Blazor, then this is a quick review. So this will help you to understand the concept and how all this came about. So it depends on which one that you want to watch. I'll leave the other one link under the description, so in case you want to watch that, you can go in there and watch it. It's almost 2 hours, but this is going to take a few minutes, okay, less than an hour, I think so, because it's just a quick review. Alright, so we know e-commerce comes in with a shop whereby people can buy items, and this is an example of an e-commerce shop built by Blazor using WebAssembly. You know, one good thing about WebAssembly here is with the WebAssembly, as soon as you create a project, you have 3 projects in folds. The first one, you have a client project, you have API, that is a Sever project, and we have a library, that is the shared project. So whatever thing that you need to be used both on the client and the server, you put it on the shared. Talking about libraries or classes or models, you put it on the shared project so that they can be used, or it can be used by both server and the client. I believe with that you know it already, so let's go straight to the point. I believe you also know how to create a Blazor WebAssembly project. Yes, because you are geek. So you create a project. So after creating the project, we're going to go through this. So you can see here we have the product here, and we have this badge indicator. As soon as you upload it, when 30 days hasn't exceeded, you can see we have this new. So here it lasts for 30 days. Now we have original price and we have a new price. So in case I have a new price, we compare. Is the new price bigger than the original price? If yes, then it means the old price or the original price has been reduced to the new price, meaning then we can add this badge reduced. Okay, but for this it depends on the days. So as soon as you upload the video, from that day till 30th day, this new tag or this new badge is going to be on your product that you just uploaded. When 30 days exceeds, it's going to rip off. Now you see we have a nice card which contains the various images at the image top. We have the title or the product name, description, and the price. There's no quantity of the item of this, but when you click on any, you see we have the item here. Now you see we have reduced over there, description, name, price, and you see we have in stock and how many that you want to purchase. So defaultly is a client or is a person add it through the home. If I click on add to cart, it's going to add the quantity as 1. But in case you want to add more, when you click on view details, you could change the quantity here. So this is in the process stage. We're making this video in lesson, so this is going to be a lesson 1. Okay, so with this lesson 1, we are going to try to explain how to build this. Lesson 2 onwards, we're going to try to explain how to perform these CRUD operations how do you update it, how do you delete it, how do you perform pagination, cart services, and a whole lot. So for now, if I decide to click on here the add to cart, I'm going to add one. But if I go to view details, and I can here add the quantity that I want. Minimum is 1, and here you can increase the quantity. Then you can click on add, then you add it. We're going to work on that, but for now let's concentrate on how to go by this. Okay, so as you've done creating the WebAssembly project, the next thing that you have to do here is, you can see we have the 3 projects here: client, server, and shared, as I explained earlier on. Let's first work on the shared project. Now the shared project, we need 2 folders. The first one is we need model and we need DTO. Now this is a model. A model is a representative of our product. So as you can see, with a product, each product must have the following properties: ID, name, original price, new price, description, quantity, image, and uploaded date. We set it to today's date. So these are the properties that each product must get. When we are done with this, we go to the next folder, and that is DTO. DTO stands for Data Transfer Object. DTOs are used to transfer data from the database to the controller, okay, or from controller to service. So that is what DTO stands for. DTO, we have 2 aspects: request DTO and we have response DTO. Request DTO is the DTO that is coming in from the user to the database, and response, it is what is coming out from the database to the user, like a response, responding to a user. Let's say the user want to get an ID, a product of ID 1. So the user has to make a query. ID 1 is a request. Now when he gets the data and returning, it is a response. But in here, you're going to create only one, and that's going to be a service model. So here, we're not going to use, and this is going to act as a request and a response, both. Okay, so that's why we name it as service model. Now with this service model, we have list of products. We initialize each here. So this is now, and we have single product. So the reason why we made this is, if we query for a list of products, we're going to store that in this service model, product list. When we query for a single product, we're going to query that from this single product. But we make sure these 2 here, they do not contract themselves. Okay, so we're going to make sure each stays on its lane. That is good, and that's what you're going to do. We have success, and that's going to be, that's a boolean. So we set default to true. CSS class, we set default to success, and the message here we set to null. So these are the properties that you want to set for the service model, and these are what you're going to use. Okay, so now we have a shared project, or we have our models ready. The next thing that you can do here is we have to work on the server. So in working on the server, let's open the server project. So let me open it again. Okay, so I open the server project. Now with this server project, first of all, what I want to do here is, let's set our database connection string. We do that in the appsetting.json file. So we open it, and that is our connection. So this is the name, this is the database name, and we have this is a connection string. Okay, so we set up that, and once we are done, the next thing to do here is we need to install some packages. So right click on the dependencies folder, and now go to manage NuGet packages. So we need to install some packages, as you know, to enable us to connect a database, create a database, and run our queries for us. So we need to install Microsoft.NT framework call, Microsoft.NT framework call .SQL server .tools. So let's wait and see. Okay, so we need to install, the first one that we need to install here is Microsoft.NT Framework Core. We need to install this first. Then we need to install Sever, SQL Server, and we need to install tools. Okay, now let's install this as well, because we're going to use this /backup.ASP.NET Core. This gives us an access to Swagger UI. So we install this as well. So install these 4 components, these packages on the Sever project. Okay, so as you're done now, let's go in there and now create our appdb context file. Now appdb context file here is going to handle all our operations, SQL Server operations for us by creating a database table containing the database table name. Okay, so we create a folder here and I will name it as data, and we create a file or a class known as appdb context. So this appdb context is inheriting from db context, where we use this using Microsoft NT Framework Core. Now I set this as global, so that's why we are not seeing this here. Okay, but in that case we have to use Microsoft.NT Framework Core. Then we have to create a constructor and inject the db context options, and it inherits from base options. After that, the module that we created as product, we create a table. So it is getting its column from this product model, and the name of the table known as product. Okay, so now we are done with creating our connection. We have to register this connection in the program.ts file. So program.ts file, now we register our connection over here. So this is our connection. We use the connection name as default connection as we set in the app settings.json. Okay, so and the next thing that we have to do here is we have to perform migration. So click on package manager console, or you click on tools. Okay, go to package manager console. Then here we need to perform migration by typing add migration. So if you check my migration folder here, you can see that the folder is inside the data. So I specified where I want to store the migration. Okay, so in that you can add dash migration. Then so let's see that. So this is what you're going to do. So add dash migration, then the name is initials. You can customize, you can change the name. Then dash O stands for output, so data folder, and the name of the folder that I want to use is migrations. So pass in this. Now when you are done, you pass in update database. So this is going to be the application, and when done, update database, and to run this. So this is going to run the queries, and at the end you're going to see your database. So when you go to, after this, you go to that is the view options, and I search for SQL Server Object Explorer. So search for this, and let's try to open the database that we have created using the migration. So let's wait while this loads. So open SQL Server, and now the last one here, that's our server here, local server. You open it and you open database folder, and you can see we have the database name that we use as ECommerce DB. So you can open it over here, and you can see open tables, and the table that we have created as product, we're going to see the table here. So it means our migration is successfully done. So let's wait for it to load, then we check our product table. Alright, so you can see we have it over here, dbo.product. So it is done now. Okay, so we can close this up. So the next thing that we can do here is we have to create our repository. So this repository is the same as a service, which is going to interact with the database and get us what we want. All repository contains two folds or two aspects: interface and implementation. The interface tells you what the method is going to do, but how you're going to do it, that's where the implementation is going to handle it. Example is maybe I want to register. Now the interface tells you this method is used to register, but how is it going to do it? It is a work of the implementation to get that. So let's create that. We create a folder known as repositories, that's over here, and inside that we create implementations and interface. So with the interface, we have I product repo. So I stand for interface product repository. So that's going to be an interface. So to create an interface, you right click and now you go to add new item and search for, so add then new item. So let's wait. So add, now you see there is a class. So if you're creating class, that is it. Okay, so if you are creating class, you go for this. But if you're creating an interface, you go for new item, then you search for an interface from the dialog box popped up. So here you're going to search for interface over here. Okay, and that is a way to create the interface. Then give it a name, and that's all, you are done. So within the interface, what are the things that you're going to be doing here? That is the next thing to talk about. So this will load fast. So good. So that's the interface. Okay, and click on, give it a name, I product repo, and that's all. Click on add and you are done. So in here, this is what you want. So you want to add product, get product, and now get product. This is get products and this is get product by ID. So this is getting a single product, getting a list of product, and we are using the tags of service model because this service model contains, if it's a single product, it has it. If it's getting a list of product to it, has it. So that's a return type service model. Okay, so we have that. Now let's go for the implementation. So we create a class inside this implementation, and now this class we name it as product repo. So this is I product repo and this is product repo. This is a class. So we inherit from the I product repo, and you can just right click on it and you click on implement all. Okay, so implement all the methods in. So the first thing that we are doing here, let me close this. The first thing that we are doing here is, that is the product repo. So we create a constructor. Now this constructor, we inject the appdb context. That's the appdb context class that we created. Then we initialize it over here. So that's what we did with this. After doing that, we have three methods, interface method, and we have to explain or interpret them here. So in the interpretation, the first one is add product, and now the model coming in is a product model, and there's an object out of it. So we create a service response, an object out of this service response. Since this product is coming as a single product, it means at the end in this service response we're going to set it to the single product. Okay, now we check if this object is not null, then we try to add it to our product table. We save the changes, and now we set a response to the new one. So this is a single product to this single product that has been sent. So at the end, we want to return this product that a person has uploaded or registered to the user. So we set it here, and the response access is true. So default it is true. So we can decide to take it off, but let's override that. It's nothing. So we set this to true. We set our message to product added successfully, and the CSS class is success. So default is success. So we can also remove that and set only this message. But in case, we can also maintain as it is. Okay. Then we return response. That is in the try catch. Now in the try catch, we first check if the product is not null. Okay. So if the product is not null, then we call this try catch. So this try is going to handle this operation. In case you have any error, then set the CSS class danger and display the error, set it to the message, return the response. Okay, now aside from that, if the object coming in here it is null, then we tell the user new product object is empty. So we set the class is warning, and our single product is null because here the object coming in here it is null, so we set it to null. That is very simple. So we are done with that. The next one that we do here is to get product. So this is getting single product by passing in product ID. So what do we do first here? We create a response object, then we check if the product is greater than 0, then we perform this try catch. So the try, we first make a search from database and see if it is found. If it is found, we set the single product to the found product. Then we display this result, return the response. But if it is not found, we say sorry, product you're looking for doesn't exist. We set the product to null, then success is to false, and the CSS class here we can set to info, return the response. When we have this is try, so when it catches, when there's any error, this is going to handle it, display it to the user, and set the class as danger. Okay, and if the object here it is greater than 0, if it is not greater than 0, that's why we call this else. So no new object is sorry, new object is empty. That is warning. So when the ID is greater than 0, sorry, when ID it is not greater than 0, so let's say it is less than, meaning it is 0 or negative. So if the user tries to tempt our system, we check, this is the first day to check it, then we return the response here. Okay, so that is the next thing. The next get product with the product ID. Now here get a list of products. So here we create an object here, we perform a try catch. Now with this try catch, what we do here is we get the whole list of products, then we check if product is not equal to null, then we have to set the product list to this product that we can, because this product is what, two lists, so it is a list form, and we set it over here. Then we can display this message product found. The response here can be success, to return the response. Actually these, they are not important, we can decide to skip them, but for education purpose I like to leave it there so that you know what they are doing. Now if product is null, then we do the same, return response, and we set product list to null. If there's any error, we catch it over here and return the error. So that is what we have in our repo. So we are done. Now when creating this repo, when you're done creating this repo, the next thing to do here is you have to create our controller. So let's go to Solution Explorer. Now you can see we have in our Sever project, there's a folder called controllers. Create a controller in it, and that's going to be an API controller. So in this API controller, the route here is API / the controller name. The controller's name is product. Okay, now we also create a constructor here, and instead of calling the appdb context, we call in the repo. So the interface one, we create an object, we call it, and we inject it over here. So now this is ready to be used. The first one is the post, and this is a route, add product. So the route is going to be API / product / add product. Then is the task action result, is an async task action result. Then it is out of what, this service model, because if the product is single or list, this service model can handle it because it has both single and list product objects. And this is the one coming in, so return okay, and we await. So we call this object product list, and there's a method in this called add product. It is receiving an object known as a product, so we pass in this product, and we are done with the add. Now the next one here, it is the getting a list of products. So it is also, the signature is also the same. Okay, so we check it, the signatures are the same, so we're going to talk about that anymore. The signatures are the same, that is from public up to the service model, they're the same. So we return the list. You can see here, return get product, that's a return okay. Now okay has a status code of 200. Okay, so it's going to return that. And now here is get product by ID. So get product, that is a route, and this route, it is coming in, or it needs a parameter known as product ID, and we pass in that parameter here. So we pass in the parameter at get product and product ID. Notice get product here needs a parameter in the product repo, so we pass in there and return the output to the action result or the service model. So that is our controller. So when you're done with this, you can now try our system. So run the application, and let me copy this, and here we need to install, we need to use the Swagger UI, that's the ASP swashbuckle.asp.NET Core. So to do that, we have to go to our Sever project, program.cs file, and now let's add this. So builder.services.add swagger gen, then come to the middleware pipeline and add the UI and the swagger. So we are adding this swagger app.use swagger and app.use swagger UI. Save it and run the application, and you must have something like this. So we can now navigate to the Swagger interface, and now let's see, for now we are not implementing it inside the client project, we are into the server. So we install the Swagger so we can have access to the method indicated there. Now you have these three methods. So when you click on add, you can see we have the schema. So it needs the following. Okay, by default it has a default value, as you can see from here. Now if I decide to add, you can add it over here, and this works. So click on try it out, and now pass in the data here and click on execute, and it's going to work. Let's try that one and see. So ID, since ID is going to be a column identity, we don't need to provide an ID. I hope you know that. Now let's maintain the name here, string. So let's click on execute, and let's see what happens here. So this is a return. You can see it's returning, and as you can see, that is a URL, add product, and this is a message, product added successfully, CSS class is success, and the success is true. So this is a product, ID is 16. So when we go to, let's see, so let's get our product, click on try it out, execute. Let's execute that and wait. Now you can see we have the whole list of products here. So I have some already, that's why you can see. So we just added the one that we just added. Let's try it. We can find that at the last end, and yeah, that is it. So this is what we added, the last end. Okay, so this is what we have. So it means our get product method also working. Now let's see, get product by ID. The one that we just added, the ID was 16. So 16, execute this. We see we have with string, and here product list is now, since we are getting a single product. So the list here, that's the list is now. We can add 14. Let's see. So this is 14. Now let's try to add one which is not found. So let's add maybe 100. Execute. Now sorry, product you're looking for doesn't exist, and list is null, single product is null, and success is false, and the class is info. Okay, so this means that our UI, Swagger UI or API is actually working. Now what you have to do here is to render this service to the client in the client project. So let's go in there and start doing something there. So I'm going to close this up, and we open our Solution Explorer. So let me close the server. Let's open the client. The first thing to do here is we have to create a client services to return this, or to return a user input to the controller. Okay, so we have implementation service and we have interface service. So with the interface service, we have the same signature as we did in the repo. So this is the same signature. Now when you go to the interface, the implementation, let's see. So here with the implementation, we inject HTTP client, because that's what we're going to use to transport or to transfer data to the controller. And here with the add product, since we have the same signature, you can see I'm going to talk about them because we've done this inside the repo already. So here we use post as async. You know, this add-ins, this posting object. So it is post. We use post as async. We pass in this new object, and this is the URI. Okay, so this is a uniform resource identifier. So this from the API, product and add product. So this is the controller. It's going straight to the controller, which is the API, and the controller name is product, and there's a method known as, or route ID known as add product. Then after returning the results to product, we have to also return it to this service tags. Okay, the same thing applies to this. This get async, so getting particular product, we pass in the ID here as a parameter, then we return the results. Then the same thing applies to get product. We get all product, return the whole result. That's for the service. Now as you're done with the service, you need to create our component, to Razor component, to enable or to use or implement the services. So first of all, we go to our pages, and now we create our product list. So our product list, we first inject the product service. Okay, then this product service, this is what we do. When you come down here, we create an object out of this service model. You know, this service model has single product model and also a list product model. So we create an object out of this. When the page initializes, we call this method. Now this method here is getting a product, getting a list of products, and store it inside the service model. So when you come here, we are looping through, we search if the service model.product list is not now. If it is, let's come to the else. Let me close this. So if it is now, then this method here, it displays loading. So that's a spinner loading. That's what you see. So we have spinner. Okay, so it's going to spin itself to the product when it gets all the products. Then, so after getting the product, we are going to set this the title as product. Then we are going to loop through the list of products. Each product, we're going to display it here. So this is the loop, this is the starting, and that is the ending here. So if you check, we have product ID, and that's an anchor tag. Then here we check if today's date it is lesser than product.uploaded date 30 days. So if today is 1st January, let's say today is 1st January, is it less than today's date? So if the person uploaded it today, also 1st plus 30, it's going to be 31. So if today greater than 31, no, it is not. But when you get to 1st February is greater than what? 30th or 31st January. So it's going to take this off. But since the date or the date hasn't exceeded, it's still going to display this badge. And this is a badge, as you can see from here, and it is a new, and there is a stop 100, start 100. So that's the position. Aside from that, we loop through the name, we get the name here as a span. Then with the description, we get it as a span in description, and they are all found in the card body, also in the page or paragraph. Now when you come to this side, you can see we have the original price. That's where we check the original price. So we are saying that if new price is not equal to 0 and product.new price is lesser than original price, it means the price has been reduced. Then display the original price, cancel it, and display the new price, and now display a badge and name it as reduced. But in case the new price is lesser than original price, or in case the new price is 0, then display the original price because there's no new price. So you don't have to add any badge as reduced. That's a very simple thing that we are doing here. Okay, then the last end here, we display a button known as add to cart. That is what we did. So if we save this and run the application, you're going to have this. So we have new and we have reduced. So all these have what reduced, but when you check this one, it doesn't have a new price. So we see this original price. As you know, the original price are the red ones. So these are the original price. It doesn't have reduced, and that's exactly what you see here. Okay, so now if I click on this, remember that we set an anchor tag here, and we set it to product details and pass in the product ID. So that's why if I hover the mouse on, this is product ID 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I click on this, you can see that's open the page for me known as product details, then passing the ID as 4. So if you check here, there is a product details, and that's what we are seeing here. Now product detail has in stock and a tag here, a text box to increase the quantity that you want to add. Let's go in there and check. So you have to create a product details. So let me close this product list. So product details, and in here it is accepting an ID. This ID is an integer, and that's going to be a parameter. So down here we set it as a parameter here. We set the default quantity as 1. We set message and CSS class to empty. We create an object out of service model. Then when the parameter is set, then we get this product method. We call this method. Now this method here, it calls the get product and passing the ID. The parameter, the ID that is coming in, it passes into the model or to the service, and this service is sent it to the controller. The controller gives it to the repo, and the repo gets the data for us. And now when it comes in, we store it into this service model. Now when it is storing, it stores into the single product because there is only one, so single product. So here we come down here and we loop through service model.single product. We set if it's not equal to now. If it's now, we display the same spinner, but if it is not, then we display we have a product here, we have a CSS class for div alert, then here we have the image display and image tag. We also check the same thing. If today's date is less than the uploaded date plus 30 days, we display new. Okay, so the first thing that we did inside the product list, we do the same here. But this time around, we are not looping through, we are not using the for loop, because this is just a single product. So we are displaying the information about that single product. And that's what we did here, add to cart, and that is it. Okay, so this is what we did in here. Okay, so aside from doing this, the next thing that we are doing here is, you can see that from here we have a button, and this button is add to cart. Now if I click on this add to cart, you want to call this method. So add to cart method, then pass in the product ID. Now when you come to down here, we have the method identified here. So add product to cart, and it is receiving the product ID. We set message and CSS class to now as indicated here to empty. Now we check if quantity is greater than or equal to 1, because minimum number that a person can buy is 1, and a person can buy quantity more than what you have in stock. Let's say I have 5, want to buy 6, it's not possible. So we check it over here as well. So if quantity is less than or equal to the quantity that we have in the stock, then give it ahead, else display what invalid quantity provided. So when you try to pass in here 0, let's click on add. Now it is invalid because it is not greater than or equal to 1. So let's pass in 1, and as soon as you click on add here, you can see there's no message here. But let's pass in this, there's 78 right in stock. Let's pass in 79, add, invalid quantity provided. So we are going to allow the user to add unless you provide exactly less than or equal to 78 before it's going to take it off. Okay, so that is the product details. Now let's see which one left. The one left here, it is the add product, and let's talk about that. So you can see from the add product, I can now navigate to add product. So add, or I can click over here, so add product, and that is the add product. So that's where I'm going to add the product to. And with the add product, let's see, you see we can choose image here, and we convert the image to base64 string. Let's see, so we create a component or razor component, and we name it as add product. So with this add product, the route here, it is add product, and we inject also the product service. And now here it is an edit form. I believe you know an edit form, so it is used to submit. Now this edit form has a button known as submit button. So submit. So when it submits, or when you click on this button, it's going to submit data into this model. This is a new model, and this model is coming from an object out of this product. Since it is a single product, we get a single product here as new object. So with this single product, it has the following names: original price, new price, description, quantity, image. Okay, so with this, these are validations that we are setting up to check if the user tries to click on without filling the data, and that's the validation message that we customize under each. Okay, now when you get to the image, here we are calling a method known as onChange. So when the file change, what will happen? You want to convert this. You're not uploading the whole image to a folder in a project. No, we rather convert it to a base64 string. So we perform that, and we have a method known as, or an object, or let's say a string that is uploaded or upload message. So when on file change, this changes here comes in with input file change event argument. So that's what you're going to use. So that is what you have here. So async tags, and the name is on file change. That is what is coming in. Then we check the image size or the image type. Is it equal to JPG file? If yes, then we go ahead. But if not, we are going to say invalid file selected. Only JPG files are allowed. So, but if it is JPG, then we set this message to empty. Then this is the format JPG. We resize the image by the format of 300 by 300. Then we create a buffer out of the size. Then we read from stream the buffer size. Then we now convert it to a 64 string. So base 64 string, we convert it, and we assign the image of this. You see this new image here has, this product has an image. So image property, we set the value to this image data, that is a string coming in. Okay, so that's what we have now. So with all these, when we are done, when we submit the button, we have to call that's an unvalid submit. So if everything is checked, provided, and I want to click on submit, this handle add product is going to handle it. It's going to call this event. So let's go to that event, and that is handle add product. Now we set message to null, then we store the output to this response. We call product service.add product, we pass in this new product, then this new product is coming in here with a response. If it adds, it tells you that successfully added. So we store the message to this message, and the class here, if successfully done, then we use a CSS class known as success. But if we have any error that is coming in, it has its own CSS class as danger, info, etc. So we set it here, and now this message in the CSS class, we have a div class set on top that's going to display the message, and that is CSS class. Okay, so we have the message. Now that's what we have. Now let's save this, and now you have to run this application. So we've covered everything. Run this application, and we're going to see this. So in case I decide to click on create without passing anything, that is the validation summary and the data annotation. So you can see the names are required. This has a default value, so we have to provide these names. Okay, now if we click on home, let's see the product that we added or into through the UI, through the Swagger UI, we have it added over here. So let's check and see, because it is part of the product and it is used as a list. So that is what we have string. Okay, there's no price. So this is the product that we have here. So let's try to add one product and see. So add one product. Let's go for an image. So let's go for this dress. That's a lady's dress. So let's type in ladies. So overall dress. Can just copy this. The price is 78.99. Maybe new price is 69.99, and the description, ladies price. So ladies overall dress, long. So let's use and beautiful, affordable as well. Okay, so let's quantity that we have here. We have 140 pieces. Now let's click on create and let's see. So you can see it is coming in here as product successfully created. Now let's go to, let's clear this, and let's go to the list and see what we have now. So you can see that this product is going to be added to the list and display it inside the product components. So you can see, let's see, this is our product. Now let's go down and see. You see we have the address here, the title or the name as indicated here, the name. We have price and the new price. So this is the price and the new price, and you can see we have a button. But the quantity, you can see we didn't display the quantity. So where do you find the quantity? Click on it, and the in stock is here 140 pieces. You can now add, and the number of quantity can keep on adding to the number that you want to buy. So it reaches 140. Alright, so that is it for what you've done as a series or lesson 1. So this is just a quick review. If you want to, for the beginners, as I said earlier on, for the beginners, I'll leave the link starting from scratch by scratch, so step by step, and you can follow up. By this video is for those who know what they are doing, okay, who have basic knowledge in Blazor. Then they can actually have a look at this and they will get it. But if you're not getting it, it means you need to get the step-by-step one. So I'll leave the link in the description, so you can just go in there and click on that to watch that video as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what I'm doing, if you want me to do more, then give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and also share. Now our next lesson, we're going to move on. You can see this e-commerce, we are not done yet. We haven't added pagination, there's no cart service, no update, no delete. So we have a lot to do, but this lesson 1 has ended. Our next lesson is going to be lesson 2. We are going to start with maybe pagination, how to perform this CRUD operation. That's the read. We have done the read, and how do you perform the update and delete. Maybe you can just go into cat service, pagination, and etc. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to catch you up in the next video.